It thinks that they're going to win.
Yes,
I am Matty Fax, joined as always by Scotland Staten, a.k.a. Scotty Stats, Brian the Professor, a.k.a. The Chair. We've got Pepe Le Producer, the Great Skunk Hunter, and Up Craig. There we go. We are brought to you by our general animosity and hatred towards pretty much all the people that call football games. There's a few exceptions out there that are pretty good, but need a little better sometimes. And they could really benefit by moving Aaron Andrews into the booth.
Great.
Put her in the booth.
Hey, great.
Put her in the booth.
What are you hiding over there, Matt?
Nothing.
A stiffy.
Yay. Let's go ahead and talk about the first half of the game that's on right now.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
It is Sunday night. It is 8 o'clock. We are currently watching the Baltimore Ravens take on the Buffalo Bills. Baltimore is down 10-21. Lamar Jackson, 123 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 1 very big fumble, 31 yards rushing. Derrick Henry, only 21 yards rushing so far. Justice Hill, 20 yards rushing also. Rashad Bateman, 2 catches, 58 yards and a touchdown. Isaiah Likely, 3 for 49. And Anthony Miller, 1 catch for 16 yards. For Buffalo, Josh Allen has 69 yards passing, 15 yards rushing to go with 2 rushing touchdowns. James Dalvin Cook has 35 yards rushing. Ray Davis, 26 yards rushing and a touchdown. And Shakir and Kincaid are the receivers for the Bills of note. Shakir with 351 and Kincaid 1 for 11. Thoughts from the non-Buffalo fans?
Well, I did just get a message from one of our locals who just chimed in with Lamar is ass. So
He is not having a good game.
I don't know that he's as far as ass. Yeah. However,
He's
had he not had that fumble that led to a scoop and score, we wouldn't be on the verge of ass.
That
but,
INT, that was like, who the fuck were you? And like,
yeah.
And it looked like the way he reacted, he was like fucking hitting his own head, like he threw the wrong play.
And
not
considering
the receiver.
and considering that as all the positive things that people say about him, and let's be honest, having a fucking wildly impressive season, he just seems to stumble in the playoffs.
Some would say back-to-back MVP worthy season.
Oh yeah, potentially.
Some would. Some definitely would.
But
okay.
At the same time, Buffalo is just, if they can do this, if they can finish the game just in decent fashion, if they can do this against the Rams, fucking hell, man.
The Chiefs.
The Ravens.
Chiefs.
I'm sorry. If the Bills can do this against the Ravens.
If the Bills can do this against the opposing football
There we
team.
go.
If I they did this versus most teams.
The Bills can do this against the Ravens. It's impressive what they can do for the rest of the playoffs.
Just real quick, building off the Lamar narrative, the other thing too is, like, he doesn't really show up in the playoffs, but both his turnovers today, as Brian mentioned, were like bad.
Yeah, not like really good coverage picks.
Yeah.
Like just bad.
A corner made a great play. It's like, no, you just threw a pop fly to him.
Mm-hmm.
And like the fumble, it was a bad snap. It was way high, and he jumbled it. He picked it back up, but then he was just fucking waving that ball around.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be doing that shit, man. Especially behind the line.
And in a cold game,
Yep.
where that ball has no give to it, and I don't know, like, if they're below 20 degrees or not, or what the real what the field
It's
temperature
not like he doesn't
is out
play in
there,
bad weather, though, in Baltimore.
No,
Yeah,
but at
yeah.
the same time, it still doesn't mean that you
Yeah.
can just wave that ball around when it's going
Sure.
to be extra firm like that. And with some precipitation, a little bit
Yeah.
slippery, like, you protect that
It'd be
thing.
better if you could just deflate it just a little bit.
Brady it, if you will.
Just Brady it a little bit, you know?
Okay. All right, well, let's talk about the other games from this weekend so far. Yesterday afternoon, the Texans traveled to Kansas City and unfortunately walked away with the loss, 23-14. They did not actually score 2 touchdowns. 2 of those points were on a safety on the Chiefs in the last minute. It's actually really smart because you just run backwards, waste a ton of clock. They get the ball back with 9 seconds, and no way they can score 9 points.
Yep.
So,
It was a smart play.
C.J. Stroud, 245 yards passing and 42 yards rushing. Joe Mixon, 88 yards rushing and a touchdown. Nico Collins, 5 for 81. Schultz, 4 for 63. John Mechie, 2 for 35. Will Anderson on the defensive side did have 4 tackles and 2 sacks. For the Chiefs, Mahomes, 177 yards passing and a touchdown. Kareem Hunt, 44 yards rushing and a touchdown. Travis Kelce had a monster game, 7 for 117 and that score of Mahomes. Xavier Worthy, 5 for 45. Noah Gray, 3 for 13. And John Karlaftis on their defensive side of the ball. 5 tackles, 4 solo, 3 sacks.
It was really impressive, the Travis Kelce touchdown. He was just kind of standing there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, Mahomes falling over, like ankles, both his ankles like grabbed as he's falling forward, and just like, and Kelsey like, and it's almost like he like, look, this will be even better if I just stand here and not do anything, just catch it and be like, great.
He's not outrunning the coverage. Just
No big
Just
deal.
found a little hole in the zone.
Yep. No, I definitely like. I don't think it's no surprise to me that he is ready to play like at this level because his stats are lower than any other season, including his rookie season, in terms of yards, catches, touchdowns. Right.
He started coming on more at the end of the season, though.
Right.
He really did.
He's 35. Maybe
They
you
were
keep
saving
him.
him?
You keep him healthy to make a fucking blitz through the playoffs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. If you're like,
Nope.
Kelsey's falling off, he's falling off that he's 35, and you're going to slow down a little bit so you can maximize in the playoffs. That's okay. Fine. Great.
Just being smart.
He's still really. He still did, 850 total yards.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad season at all.
No,
It was a
no.
reserved one.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Questionable penalties involving hits on Mahomes.
It's,
Again.
It's so hard because there's such a microscope on it.
But even Troy Aikman is like, you got to be kidding
When the
me.
broadcasters, they're
Or,
reporting
come
live,
on, or
like,
something
come
like that. I don't
on,
remember
you know?
exactly what he said, but...
I think it was, oh, come on. Yeah.
And it's just like, when even he's like, that's not a penalty.
Yep.
And I think that if there wasn't a helmet-to-helmet contact, they might have let it go, as opposed to just like a late hit on a quarterback.
But
Because
there's-
he slid really late, and it was a very short slide. But they had nowhere to go.
yeah.
The thing, like, he dropped down.
He was
Yeah.
he was actively trying to avoid him mid-air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's when it's not a flag.
You have
Like,
to
come
give a
on.
little credit
Yeah.
to the defensive players when they're finally trying not to do something, and you're hitting them with it anyway.
Yep.
And it wasn't even like they hit him; they hit each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was one earlier in the Eagles game that Hurts, you could tell, was trying to get that flag.
Yes.
Where he waited till the last possible second to, like, pretend like he was going to slide, and he barely got grazed. No flag. That's the way it should happen.
Yeah.
But he was trying to get that fucking
yeah.
flag,
Also,
you know?
Just as much as I hate him, and it pains me to say this, Brady, when Mahomes is 28, I believe, 29 at the oldest, he is getting the Brady, your 40-year-old baby treatment from the refs, where Brady, you could still hit Brady when he was in his late 20s, early 30s, and now you can't even look at Mahomes.
We've...
Not that he cares, folks.
No.
And it's one of those things, like, everyone, every talking head, all across all the socials, like, all season, and it was last season too, but it's even more this season, about that Mahomes gets all these things. The refs are in the Chiefs' pockets, and, like, when you see a game like that, where there's so many of them, like, I don't believe in bullshit conspiracy
Well, and Will
theories,
Anderson-
but,
And it was, by the way, it was also a fourth down that they were going for. It.
Yeah.
like, important ones.
And
Very
a-
important.
after the game, Will Anderson, the very good young defensive end for the Texans, said that coming into the game, they knew it would be them against the Chiefs and the refs.
And if that's even in your head as a fucking player,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, the defense has no fucking chance.
Yeah.
Like, they're already, like, kind of weary about any kind of hit. you know?
Exactly.
I will say this, that I think that if the Texans had either Tank Dell or Stephon Diggs, it would have been
That could have helped.
a much better game.
Yes.
And they have it in them to win.
But they
They
played...
were one receiver away from being... And like, I would argue that Stephon Diggs just, that in the playoffs,
having,
that
like,
confidence,
4 well-timed
Yep.
catches.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
I'd say, like, the Texans played well. I thought it
Yeah.
was a good squad.
Yeah.
It was a good game for them. I mean, clearly you're playing the Chiefs,
Yep.
who are far and away still the team to beat. But the Texans looked really good. Like, there was a couple of times where, like, oh, we could have adjusted this way, and it would have led to a fucking 35-yard run. But overall, I thought the Texans looked really sharp.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
the score does not reflect how well the Texans played.
And that's thank you for saying that. That's what, like, to me, they literally were just one better receiver away from being
I think
lot
it's a
more
good point,
competitive.
yeah.
So I mean, to lose Diggs and Dell.
Yeah. I mean, Diggs
and Nico
alone
Collins.
would have sucked, you know.
I would like to point out, though.
He played most of the game.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
I would like to say, though,
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
the Chiefs just continue to win.
Yep.
Yes, they do.
Like they've
They do.
always done.
Yes,
They've
they
never
do.
been this
And it's
super
like when the
dominant
Brady,
team.
it's when the Patriots were in the midst of their dynasty. Like, we don't give a fuck if we
But the
beat you by
difference is
3 or
they're
30.
Yep. Yeah.
This year is so fucking different, though.
So, here's a little stat for you that I found out today
Oh.
that is outstanding.
Wait, about the Chiefs or the Texans?
It's about the Chiefs
Boo.
in this game in particular. The Chiefs forced 0 turnovers from the Texans. They were outgained by 124 yards. Going into this, no team in the history of the playoffs, when with no forced turnovers, so meaning they took the ball away, and being outgained by over 100 yards had ever won. It was 0-49.
Yep. 49 times.
So the 50th time it finally works out in the home team's favor, and it just happens to be, which is just more fodder for the Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
That's half their wins this season.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
so it wasn't like they were going off book. It's
Yeah.
what they've been doing all season long.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But you know what? Defense wins you championships, and they've got the defense to do it. So,
Chris Jones, I'm not saying he's at the level that Aaron Donald was when he was Defensive Player of the Year, but he is the closest thing the NFL has right now
well,
to
I
Aaron
mean,
Donald.
size and quickness, he's pretty damn close. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's outstanding. Okay, the game last night. This was a fascinating, fun game to watch. Unless you're a Lions fan.
Yeah,
Commanders went into
yeah.
Detroit and they won 45-31. Rookie of the Year candidate Jaden Daniels probably just won it.
Like, how
to be
could he
honest.
not get it?
I think going even before this playoffs.
Oh, he was-
I think
he was clearly the number one.
Yeah, I think so
Clearly.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had 299 yards passing to go with 2 touchdowns and 51 yards rushing. Brian Robinson Jr., 77 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Austin Eckler had a nice little game in the backup role. 47 yards rushing and 4 catches for 41 yards. Jeremy McNichols had 8 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown. De'Ami Brown made a bunch of outstanding plays, 6 catches for 98 yards. Terry McLaurin, 4 for 87 and a touchdown. That touchdown was a 55-yard out route that he just got outstanding blocking and outrunning
Yep.
everybody. Zach Ertz, 5 for 28 and a touchdown. On the defensive side, Jeremy Chin had 12 tackles, 7 of them solo. And Dorrance Armstrong, defensive tackle, had 3 tackles and 2 sacks. For the Lions, Jared Goff had 313 yards passing, 1 touchdown, but 3 interceptions. Jahmyr Gibbs had 105 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns to go with 6 catches for 70 yards. David Montgomery had 28 yards rushing and also got the credit for 20 passing yards on a very cool play where Jared Goff tossed him the ball, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown was coming around from the other side, and it was one of those shovel passes like Mahomes does to Kelsey, but it was the running back tossing it to the wide receiver in this case, and it went right up the gut for 20 yards. It was very cool. I'd never seen a play like that. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 catches for 137 yards. Sam Laporta, 6 for 51 and a touchdown. Khalif Raymond, 3 catches for 37 yards. And on the defensive side, their linebackers were doing some work. Campbell, 14 tackles, 8 of them solo, and Anzalone, 13 tackles,
Anal
12 solo.
Yeah. Anal zone. Yep.
I thought the Lions played with a lot of heart. Goff's interceptions buried them, but the defensive... I'm not trying to make an excuse for them. The Commanders won this game, but the defensive injuries, and then they had even more pile up in this game with their defensive backs.
Early on, too.
They could not get a... They were putting guys that should have been special teamers in their starting defense.
Yep.
And it caught up to them finally.
The narrative into the playoffs was if you want to beat the Lions, you need to outscore them and you need to make their injured defense work really hard. And I didn't think that it was going to be the Commanders to do it.
Yeah.
The Commanders
Yeah.
followed exactly that game plan, but at the same it's not just that their defense has been injured, it's that they've been injured for a lot of the season, which means the guys playing are fucking tired.
Yes.
You
And they
can
were
say
starters to begin
You
with,
can say
so-
next one up all you want, but the problem is when you've been the next one up by week 3, you're fucking tired.
Yep.
And they had something like 20 defensive players on the IR.
Yeah.
That's basically your first and second string.
Yeah.
The entire number.
But they
Like,
still got this far.
And I tell you what, they're probably going to lose their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator.
I don't see how they don't get head coaching jobs. I don't see how it doesn't happen.
Well, the
I would
number,
love if they stuck around and wanted to build a more
Ben Johnson
better team.
is got his pick, and people are courting him hard. So
Yep.
yeah.
He will either be the Bears coach, the Jags coach, or the Raiders coach. Or he goes back to the Lions for offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I have those options.
By the way,
I'd stay in Detroit for another year.
there is no salary cap on the coaches.
Oh yeah, no,
They could pay
none.
him whatever they want to
Yeah.
keep him.
And
But also the question is, does he want
yeah,
that next step? And if he
Right,
does,
right.
it's going to be, do you want... I mean, I don't... The Jags have a young quarterback. The Bears have a young quarterback. The Raiders do not. And unless the Raiders trade up, they're likely not going to have one fall to them in the draft,
Yep.
just the way the drafts usually go.
but also he might say, I want to see this through. The Lions are not done.
If he does, he instantly becomes my favorite future head coach.
The Lions.
Because no one does that
There
anymore.
might be there might be some really big contracts coming to a close that are like they're likely gonna have to go away. There's always moves, but like I feel like they're pretty stable.
Yeah? Yeah, they're not losing any massive pieces or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So run this back again. To me, the one big question is when you have a team, you have a great team with a good quarterback. That's when you can kind of run into, a Sam Darnold situation, a Jared Goff situation. In the biggest moments, you don't know how to shine.
But Goff has done it before.
I
He's not in Kirk Cousins territory.
No. But at the same time, like that's also a part of it. Is like they were able to really take advantage of him, and he didn't seem to have the mind to get himself square
He
after those
didn't
picks.
have what
So,
Jaden Daniels does have, and I'm not going to say any other quarterback in the league really has that kind of speed. There's only a few of them, but Jaden Daniels' legs against that defense that
Yeah.
was so
Can
beat up,
save him a lot.
It saved them a
Yeah.
lot, and listen, that is. It's not just the rushing yards; it's escaping the pocket. Jared
Yep.
Goff can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
giving you
yesterday,
an extra second.
it wasn't the tackles where he was getting pressure; it was right up the middle. And like I remember back when Brady was playing, and I'm not equating Goff to Brady, other than the fact that they play the same position. But pressure right up the middle with those non-athletic quarterbacks, it's the easiest way to take him out of a good game. And I just think that's what they did to Goff. They managed to take him out of a decent game because they were able to get the pressure right
Yep.
up the middle on him.
Yep.
I don't want to take anything away from the Lions season. Dan Campbell's a great
Yeah.
coach. I do think, again, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson are likely going to leave. But anyway, commies.
Oh my God.
Rookie quarterback against the Detroit Lions.
Yep.
This season.
Yep.
Once again,
Holy shit.
against a ravaged defense.
But they've been playing, with a ravaged defense all season long.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I'm saying Jaden Daniels. It makes sense that he would look good against a ravaged defense.
Okay, but
That same defense beat really good teams
that ravaged
all
defense
season long.
got Sam Darnold to throw 4 interceptions and made the Vikings
Yeah,
that were
look like dog
fantastic
shit.
offense
Yeah.
look like dog shit. So they
I mean, still, yes, absolutely, yes.
you're but at the same time, like they with that ravaged defense, but they're also the air definitely was coming out of the tires on it. Like it's the long fucking season.
Yep.
Yep.
And I say this, everyone seems to think that there's going to be an 18th week, or I should say
I
should say
cannot
19th
argue
week.
against
Right.
it more.
Everything
But
is
it-
trending that
But
way,
like
though.
what we're watching is as these seasons extend, these guys are getting hurt, and now what you have going into the playoffs
Yep.
are teams that are not the best teams.
Yep.
And
then a new part of coaching becomes, okay, who do I bench at week 15?
Right.
To save them
Yeah,
if I
right.
need them in week 19.
Yeah.
You already have a hard enough time finding capable starters as it is.
Yep. I don't like it either. Yep.
Um,
I mean, if they stretch out the season, give them an extra bye week. Do the whole thing we've talked
me-
about
oh, yeah.
numerous times on the show.
Extra
to make,
bye week.
Make the Super Bowl fall on President's Day so everyone has the Monday
Right.
off and all that
Extra
shit.
bye
Do
week.
that.
I'm all about that.
Don't add an extra fucking game.
Forget the extra game, and I get because that's a money discussion. It's more revenue coming in. That's not a player safety, which is what they always say is
Yep.
paramount, but it's not. It's not shareholders. That's paramount.
Player safety is paramount.
Yeah.
Money?
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah. But listen, this was a fun game to watch, too. There was like 600 yards of offense in the first half
It's
alone.
insane. I know. It looked like an NCAA basketball score.
Yeah, right.
Like, I do feel bad for Lions fans.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
and there were
I
so
mean,
many of them that didn't give a shit about football this year. They were like, "Go Lions,"
Yeah.
Because like you want to root for the underdog, and like an underdog to be that fucking good, Oh, I mean, I'm one of them, so
I me too. I in my mind, this was a year to watch the Lions in the playoff or in the Super Bowl.
But if they had to lose, I'm glad they lost to Jaden Daniels led Commanders. Like, holy shit, that's a story.
It really is. Okay. The game earlier today. The upstart Rams traveled to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Unfortunately, their run came to an end. They've been playing very inspired football based on
Yeah.
everything happening where they're from, but the Eagles did win 28-22. Matt Stafford, 324 yards passing to go with 2 touchdowns, but he did have 2 fumbles, one of which he lost. Kyron Williams, 106 yards rushing and a fumble. Puka Nacua, 6 catches for 97. Robinson, 3 for 74. Cooper Kupp, 5 for 61. Higbee, 7 catches, 54 yards and a touchdown. Kobe Turner, their excellent young defensive tackle, had 6 tackles, 5 solo, 1 sack. Jared Verse, their rookie defensive end, had 4 tackles, 2 sacks. And Brandon Fisk, their other rookie defensive lineman, also had a sack. For the Eagles, they didn't do a lot in the air. Jalen Hurts, 128 yards passing, but he had 70 yards rushing. Saquon Barkley, 205 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. I know, right? 4 catches for 27 yards. Dallas Goedert, 4 catches for 56 yards. Devonta Smith, 4 for 21. A.J. Brown, 2 for 14. Kenneth Gainwell, 1 for 10. That's it.
Well, it's not like Saquon did that to the Rams before.
Yeah, he had 240 some odd rushing yards the first game of the season. Jalen Carter, second-year defensive tackle, had 5 tackles, 3 solo to go with 2 sacks. And Nolan Smith, second-year defensive end, 4 tackles, 1 solo, 1 sack. I feel like every time I bring up Barkley like this, it's like I'm trying to talk shit on the Giants
it's good.
for having
That's okay.
let him go. But he is such a critical part of this Eagles offense.
Yeah, and rightfully so. When for him to be in the conversation of MVP,
Like very muted, but definitely
it was
should be.
because
Yeah.
when you talk about it, like the MVP discussion, it's got to be a quarterback because they're involved in more plays. Fair, I understand that part of it, but at the same time, who would they be without Saquon Barkley?
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is,
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts has 16 touchdowns this season, I think, running.
Yeah.
But 12 of them are those tush push
Yeah.
ones. At least 10 of
That
those
would've
should have been
gone to
Saquon
Saquon.
Barkley.
By the way, he had one earlier today.
Yeah.
It was funny because they were at the 10 or whatever, and I was like, yeah, Saquon's got to put him. Or someone said Saquon's going to run it in for a touchdown, and I was like, Saquon's going to get to the 1,
Yep.
and Hurts is going to run it in. And sure enough,
Yep.
go figure. Yep. But that's the thing, is you got a guy who's going to. He's a Giants fan. Does it suck that he's not on the Giants? Yeah. Would he have done any of that this year with the Giants? No. He would have done half of it.
3/4.
He'd have earned every single bit of it.
Fine. Yes, he would have. But I like watching the best players play.
Yeah,
sure.
And he's
Yeah.
in a situation where he can play peak.
Yep.
Let's fucking watch it. Derrick Henry leaving the Titans to go to the Ravens.
Yep.
Let's
Yep.
fucking watch it. Watching peak guys play because they fit in the program. That's the right entertainment.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, at the very least, if you're a running back, give them a fucking chance by having a semblance of an offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Absolutely.
Give them the running start.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
And also the threat that Jalen Hurts is going to
Yeah,
take off and
yeah.
do some running, which you want that. You don't want him. You want him to run when you need him to. The
Yep.
design plays are good, but they used to rely on that so much. Now you've got someone who can run the ball, or with a fake handoff,
Yeah.
whatever. Really, it fucks you up. That's why he should be in that MVP discussion. He won't get it. I don't know, maybe he'll get an Offensive Player of the Year or something. Who knows? But
Probably.
yeah,
I mean, Jamar Chase could
Yeah.
also get that one.
yeah.
I'm not saying you should
Jamar-
get it just because your team's winning, but it feels more like Jamar Chase getting a triple
He got a
crown
triple
is
crown.
cool.
Yeah.
But 2,000 yards rushing has
Two-
only happened a
Exactly.
few times in the history
Yeah.
of the NFL. And the
Yeah.
fact that it's being talked about kind of so lightly in comparison to
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, it's kind of
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Especially
we thought
when-
it was the death of the running back 3 years
Yeah,
ago.
exactly.
You got 2,000-yard rusher, and it's whatever.
Every other team is running back by committee.
Yeah.
We got Saquon Barkley? Fucking run it. Fucking
Yeah.
run it, you know?
But getting almost no publicity as far as
Yeah.
the big award goes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were talking earlier about the Ravens and having Derrick Henry with the style of Lamar, you have extended both of their seasons.
Yeah.
Now they're going to the playoffs. They're in the playoffs doing well. Not so well right now, but doing well.
Yeah.
And I don't think either one of them has ever been this healthy in the playoffs.
It's a good point.
Because, like, they both have legs left. Mm-hmm. Whereas before, you know, Derrick Henry was the only fucking piece for the Titans. Lamar was the only fucking leg.
Yeah, because J.K. Dobbins was already down to 1, like, at the beginning of the season. So
I was like,
Well, then Gus Edwards, yeah, like he's gonna,
if they combined those two, they would have had 2 working legs that actually were left and right, I think.
yeah.
ooh, could you genetically splice like a 3-legged running back?
Nice.
Yeah. Well, the Chargers probably tried, but instead they just got stuck with them regular.
Regulars.
Yeah. Any thoughts? Not the streaks. Do you have any
Okay.
thoughts on that game?
No, I'm too invested in this.
He's very much
Okay.
invested.
All right. That brings us to the first of our next segments. Scotty Stats on NFL.
Dude, on NFL, because things happen outside of professional football, and
Liar.
yeah, trust me. I'm telling
Supposedly.
you. Supposedly.
Supposedly.
So,
Allegedly.
as I get into this, I do want to just give a little bit of a shout out to this Redwood Empire. This is their cast strength Emerald Giant, which is a rye whiskey. Redwood Empire's out of California, and they make some fucking incredible whiskeys. They're really, really good. They're not a sponsor, but they could be.
And they should be.
I like the label too.
Yeah.
It's cool image.
So the first, I want to talk about some women's basketball.
Yeah, I got thoughts about that.
The new Unrivaled League kicked off, which is a 3-on-3 basketball league. There are 6 teams. They play for the next 2 months in Florida. It's a full court 3-on-3.
Oh, wow.
Which is different from the way they do that in the Olympics. Because the Olympics is
Yeah,
half
it's a
court.
half court.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of changed the way that they're playing. They're also playing in smaller stadiums on purpose because they want the fans right fucking there.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
they're like 1,000-seat.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Listen, if you get something that works, do it.
It's
And-
like where we went to high school. It's
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
It's like it's like
Not
it's
for
really
football,
fun
for
play
basketball.
because
People
it's
here don't know what that big of a stadium is.
it's real
good
fast
point.
moving. And what's also nice is for the women that are doing this, they don't have to travel overseas. They can stay in the U.S. and they're making a good buck. In fact, a lot of them are getting paid more to do this Unrivaled than they are WNBA.
Yep.
So hopefully viewership and sponsorship.
Fewer contracts, they could bump it up a little bit more.
Exactly,
Some more
but
private
it's
investors.
it's
yeah.
definitely a fun way to watch. 3-on-3 full court is an absolute blast.
No, I like it because like they let instead of like having a team owner, people could buy stakes into the
Yep,
team.
right.
So you could have multiple owners that can like, well, fuck it, I'll put in $5 million.
Yeah.
I'll put in $1 million. I'll put
Yeah.
in 500,000. And it's a cool fucking way to build something. I really like it. No one has done that since a hockey team tried to compete with the NHL in Canada, like in the 80s.
Oh, no
You
kidding.
know, it's like it's fucking cool. It's a cool fucking way to do it.
Yeah, yeah. In a very similar vein, LeBron James' longtime business partner is working with a bunch of investors to start a global basketball league.
Oh, I haven't heard about this at all.
Yep. They're looking to do 6 men and 6 women's teams. And the difference is that in the NBA, there's a limit to sovereign wealth funds, or like hedge funds and things like that. You can only be 20% of a team.
Okay.
Right?
So he's trying to get like some oil magnets and people to
So
start
that's-
teams.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so that's really where like that's where that money exists and why it could potentially do so. But then at the same time, like I don't mind that one bit, having a global league, especially because basketball play is picking up huge across Europe. It's really gaining steam a lot of other
It
places.
doesn't have to take. It doesn't have to be better than the NBA. It can just be a league
Well,
that funnels
absolutely.
talent to the NBA.
At a time
Absolutely.
while NBA revenue is constantly dipping, it's
Right.
fucking smart too.
Right, because we already see like the basketball growing up in China,
Yeah.
you know, and they don't play outside of China. They just play, but still like seeing it grow like that, it's kind of interesting and kind of fun. So
Can I ask you a question on
Yeah.
the NBA
yeah.
income dropping? Do you have any solutions that you can think of that would help their game out?
I think that the biggest problem is that they're stuck in the Moneyball part of the game, which is if you can shoot 33% from 3, right?
Oh, I don't
Getting
know.
getting a point per shot is better because most people don't shoot 50% from the regular from inside the arc.
Yeah.
So that means statistically, as long as you're shooting 33.3, you're getting a point per shot. And
But not everybody's Steph Curry either. Like
right, but you're talking 33%.
It is
right?
a massive increase
Right.
in 3-point
So you're seeing
attempts.
the game
massive.
exist outside of the 3-point line and then around the basket, and where the games are fun or when those mid-range jumpers when you scrap
DeMar
in
DeRozan.
DeMar DeRozan's still doing it out there.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard was good with it. But I will say
That was
this.
Jordan's bread and butter.
Oh, yeah.
Fade away.
Yeah.
Right. But here's also the crazy thing. Some of the I think the 4 highest 3-point percentage that actually like put up a number of shots in a game are centers.
Yeah.
So because
Because they'll do like 3.
yeah, well, but even still, like they're making them. So
Yeah. If you do 1 for 3, you're 33%.
when you've got like Jokic and
And it is a
Domantas
weird
Sabonis,
yeah,
you know
they're
what I mean? Like,
anomalies, but still.
right, but still,
yeah.
like, and they're shooting better than these
Yeah.
other guards. Now, granted, that also has to do with like they're friggin' open because they're these 7-footers launch.
True.
But even still, like it's changing the game a lot, and it's making like that scrap under the basket isn't happening as much.
Yep.
But I think what you're also start seeing is these young up and comers. Anthony Edwards is so fucking good. John Morant, walking highlight reel.
Dunked on Wembanyama.
Dunked on Wembanyama, but also Wembanyama doing the most alien shit you've ever heard.
Oh,
We
yeah.
talked about him a bunch.
I'm not saying that to trash Wembanyama.
I know.
I'm making a
Yeah.
comment on how amazing
Yeah.
that
we had
guy
a whole
is.
segment
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah, no.
but then
I listen. He's fantastic.
But then you got a squad in Oklahoma City that is so fucking good, and
Shai Gilgeous.
Shai Gilgeous
Yeah,
Alexander is probably the MVP right now. He's
mean-
so insane. But the rest of his team,
But he's the points leader and doesn't look like he's a points leader.
No.
It's fucking amazing.
the rest
you
of the
know?
team is also they're so good.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, the other guy that everyone knows, their 7-footer, and I'm blanking on his name. The one guy everyone knows, Chet Holmgren. There we go. He's been injured, and they're still dominating
Yep.
and winning like crazy. Their defense is absolute lockdown, and they're filled with a bunch of young guys. They're so young. They have 2 players named Jalen Williams. That's how young they are. Oh, Jalen has become the most popular name in the NBA.
Oh, okay,
so-
okay.
Yeah.
So like 20 years ago, that was the most popular baby name.
Yeah.
And now they have 2.
Yeah, they got Jalen Williams. Yeah, they're spelled differently, but still. So,
Of course, they're
There's-
spelled differently.
but they really
There's a
are
lot of
like,
different spellings for Williams. What are you talking about?
but they really are like some of these young guys are playing some really fun basketball. There's this kid on the Atlanta who's getting 3 steals a game.
Damn.
It's like so.
Like average? That's not fucking bad at all.
That's incredible.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Incredible. So there is some good like, and I think that what's happened is that the older guys that are playing like their style evolved with Steph Curry, and now these guys are starting to move like recognize you can move away from that and find other ways. Hopefully it sticks, and I think a lot of that the viewership will come back up again. But then again, there's fucking entertainment everywhere, so
This is
you know
true.
it's hard to stay on top
Well, I
of
think
it.
so
And it-
much of it, like, I mean, so many breakdowns about, like, oh, the 3 was the end of the NBA. And, like, it wasn't just the 3. It was also players realizing, if I can shoot the long ball, then I don't have to run back and forth as often. I have more energy to play a full game, and I'm less likely to get hurt.
Yeah.
So, sure, I'll get the rebound, or we'll inbound it after an offensive possession, and I'll launch it from here. I took 5 steps,
Yeah.
and I didn't tire myself out at all.
Yeah.
So-
right.
And that's what makes the game boring as shit.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, missed. Oh,
Right,
missed.
right.
Oh, missed. Oh, missed. Non-stop for like 5 minutes straight.
I mean, you can
sometimes,
watch
you know?
Mod Fuck.
Oh, that was a good run. You can watch what? Fuck.
I will say this.
Just montages
And
of brick.
This
brick,
is not
brick,
about.
Yeah,
brick.
This is-
exactly.
This is not to have a discussion of who the better player was. What I'm going to say though is like Michael Jordan used to never take a game off. He'd be like, someone paid money to see me play.
Yep. Yeah.
And these days, I think at least for like even watching it on television, you're like, well, fuck, are any of the stars playing, or is this a rest fucking day?
It is.
And I understand also it's tough because like, are they injured? Because if they are, they don't need to be out there.
Yeah. Now, like, there's
practice.
80
It's just
some odd
practice.
games, and like the problem is when you want to say you want viewership up, you need fewer games. And that really is the answer.
Yeah, but
I
you
hate
look
to
at
say it.
NHL, they have 90 fucking games. They don't fucking take days
I
off,
don't.
you know?
I don't understand
could you
the
imagine
biology of an
Just
of
fucking-
an NHL player. That's so
it's
different.
It's
man.
a different animal.
I
Yeah.
think they're actually built like what a trash test dummy would be if it would actually was capable of surviving all the accidents.
all at least a foot shorter, but could you imagine a bar fight between an NHL team and an NBA team?
Oh,
Oh,
bloodbath.
Yeah.
Bloodbath.
Yeah, the
oh, my
NHL team would kill
God.
them.
Yeah. Once they got in the reach, it's over.
The only team that could have matched up was maybe like the Knicks in the '90s was Xavier McDaniel and Charles Oakley.
No. They're that Detroit team. They were.
Oh, yeah, Bill Lambier, you know he likes some bar fights.
Now, the NHL team would, like, make it fair. It's like, okay, you guys can use knives. Go ahead.
Be careful, if you cut off our head, we have to reattach that and we're out at least a game.
So the last thing I want to talk about, and I touched on it before, it had to do with Jimmy Butler and and how he wants to leave, and there was a lot to talk about. So I figured there's only one good way to talk about it, with the whole scenario of Jimmy Butler, and it's like this: OMG! Did you hear about the drama going down with Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat? It's like peak chaos. So basically, Jimmy got in this massive fight with the team, like we're talking relationship ending levels. And he's now suspended for 7 games, which could cost him millions. And the T is that he wants out, like bad. He's all, trade me or I'm not coming back. But Miami's like, no deal yet, sorry. It's a total mess. Coaches and players are over it. And supposedly some are like, we don't even want him back. Yikes. Even Jimmy's been stirring the pot on Insta. He's showing off himself playing soccer. He's got his coffee shop vibes. Well, the team's trying to handle all this drama. Plus, this whole thing is like deja vu for Jimmy. He's had messy breakups with teams before. Miami's all about this tough, disciplined Heat culture, but they let Jimmy bend the rules like a lot. He's flying private. He's skipping team events. He's even staying in mansions 30 miles away from the team during the finals. And now they're regretting it big time. Oh, and the shade from Pat Riley. He basically told Jimmy to, like, zip it about all of these injuries and hinted that Jimmy isn't even worth another huge contract because he's not even on the court. Ouch. And Jimmy, he's furious. He's all, I can't get my joy back here, and hinting at, like, Phoenix is the next stop. But the Suns can't afford him unless they get super creative. And who knows where he's going to land. Bottom line, it's like watching the most dramatic breakup ever, with everyone taking sides, spilling tea, throwing shade. Get your popcorn, because this is just getting started. Thoughts?
Do you know half of the words you used in that segment?
He knows Jimmy.
Oh my God.
He knows Jimmy. He knows Miami.
Yeah. I was reading this very long article about all of this, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of
There's
good...
so much fucking drama.
There's
shit.
a lot of good stuff in here, and I'm like, this is starting to read, like, super dramatic.
Yeah.
So thank you to ChatGPT for summarizing it
Oh.
like a drama-ridden teenage girl.
Yeah, like a shorty girl. Yeah.
And
I
that
think you
is
just looked at the script for Mean Girls.
and that is the NFL.
Okay.
That was good. That was good.
Well, let's go into just the worst, because that's hilarious.
I mean, Jimmy Butler, obviously.
Do you have any other just the worst for this week?
I mean, I don't. Like, we talked about the Chiefs and the refs, and like I'm done with that. Like, I want to watch more good football, so nothing is just the worst.
And this isn't also really just the worst, but it's just the worst that the Detroit fans keep this continuing cycle of, like, we're on the rise, and this was the year, and for it to end in that kind of fashion sucks, and I feel bad for them.
It really sucks for them. It really does.
The NFC North. Supposedly the best conference in
Oh
football,
my
or
God!
division of
Right?
football.
Oh shit! Yeah.
And they all lost. 0 for 3 in the playoffs this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the NFC East
Yes.
with 2 teams.
Yeah.
Moving on.
I mean,
I would never have. Eagles maybe.
yeah, Eagles,
Eagles, maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't see the commies coming at all.
No.
No.
And like, okay, maybe my now just the worst is teams need to fucking pay attention to Jaden Daniels' fucking warm-up practices
Yeah.
of using VR. Like, either he is fucking way more amazing than any scout ever fucking thought possible, or the VR reps are fucking working, you know?
Well,
But how
I mean,
many quarterbacks would want to do that are not his generation?
To get better? I mean, I still fucking play video games. I play with VR.
Yeah,
Shit, I
but
got a
you-
fucking Oculus,
You're not
you know?
reading.
We know for a fact Kyler Murray likes playing video games.
Yes.
Okay.
He's
Yes.
got to play the right ones and the right kind of
Right.
system, you know?
but you know what? If you're any quarterback this year, and you're unhappy with where you finished off in the season,
Yeah.
and you say it's time to make a change,
Yep.
you know,
I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, my legs got to get stronger. I'm going to hit the weight room more. I'm going to do more leg presses. I'm going to do this. Oh, you know, my arm got tired by week 15. I'm going to start benching more. Like,
yep.
if this is a way to get your game better
Yep.
and you don't get hurt by practicing this way,
Yep.
fucking do it. I
I
don't get
agree.
the hesitancy.
I
Like,
agree
maybe that is
wholeheartedly.
just the worst. Like,
Yeah.
people are like afraid to try something new. Like when the forward pass came out of the fucking aughts, you know?
the guys that do this, like the mental visualization stuff, you know,
like there's
you
science behind that.
you hear that, but like that's on you, your ability to be able to do that, you know. I've tried meditating. I'm not good at it, and I tried really tried. That's a skill, you know. That and I never really asked anyone for help. And maybe it would, you know, I could have been, but even still, like that one, learning how to mentally visualize could probably be really tricky. You don't have to now.
Yep.
You don't have to make anything up.
Yeah.
In fact, it can all be right over there. Not only that, it can be programmed based on what this team
That's
has
exactly
done.
what he does.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Yeah. So
and
you
there's
watch-
fucking colleges that are already doing it.
Yeah.
Why not every team in the NFL?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Like, it's so stupid.
Agreed. I have a couple just the worst.
Oh, a couple.
Yep. Number one is Mary Moans,
Yeah.
What did he do now?
the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, who contract talks apparently fell apart with Mike McCarthy this week. Number one, over the length of the contract, but rumored to be, another thing is, he wanted Jason Witten brought in as an assistant to be the heir apparent to Mike McCarthy.
Wait, again?
Jason Witten has never been a coach. for
Oh,
the
thinking of
Cowboys.
Jason Garrett.
Oh, yeah.
Jason
My
Witten
bad.
is a
My
head
bad.
coach currently at Liberty Christian High School in Argyle, Texas, where he did coach them to a state championship in Division. It doesn't say what size.
I'm guessing not a real school.
But, hey, it doesn't. I almost had to say it doesn't matter the size. You still coach
Yeah.
them to a state championship, regardless of the size.
In Texas, it kind of matters.
But still, like you're competing against the same level.
There are some Texas high school teams that could beat some D1
But
college
but
teams.
you're still competing against. Your competition is
I would argue
level
they
set.
couldn't.
True. That's what I'm saying.
True,
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a stretch. They could, yeah.
But with all this coming up, and I thought that was just terrible, that whole idea, because I remember watching Jeff Saturday coach. But with this whole thing, I've also heard a lot of people blasting on Mike McCarthy, and deservedly so. He's had some problems in the playoffs recently. His name popped up.
Well, not recently.
Yes, his name popped up. He got interviewed by the Bears. Like he's going to get interviewed for these these jobs.
He's a head coach. Yeah.
So I have statistics from a few coaches here,
Oh.
and I want to hear
Okay.
if you guys can figure out who I'm talking about with him, because one coach is 179 and 114 in the regular season, 9-9 in the playoffs. All these three of these guys have
Tomlin.
Super Bowl wins, by the way. There's also a guy who's 174, 112 and 2. It's 11-11 in the playoffs. And another one who was 183, 107 and 2, and 8-11 in the playoffs.
First
One of
one-
those is McCarthy.
First one's Tomlin.
I think one of them is Tomlin. I agree with you.
Tomlin was the second one with 8
Okay.
and 11 record in the
Okay.
playoffs.
So can I give you a fun fact? Tomlin only has one more playoff win than Marvin Lewis, who could allegedly never win in the playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah, but longevity gets you somewhere.
Tomlin hasn't won since
I-
Brendan Roethlisberger won a game in the playoffs.
I'm sitting right next to your notes, and I'm staring right at him. I cannot read anything you wrote down. So.
All right, what's the record we're missing?
Jesus.
179 and 114 with a 9-9 record in the playoffs. And McCarthy is 174, 112, and 2. With 11
Harbaugh,
11.
maybe?
Nope. These are just 3 I wrote down. Sean Payton.
Ah, okay. Yep.
Oh shit. So you're saying like
McCarthy's good.
no yeah the shade he's getting is because
He had 3 straight 12-win seasons.
Yep.
yeah
Like
because
Super Bowl
because he's
Super Bowl
coaching the
playoff collapses.
Cowboys
Yeah.
that have a terrible general manager / owner,
Yep.
which
Yep.
I don't
That
like
you have
the
to deal with
combo.
on a daily basis.
Absolutely. No, like I think a lot of teams would love to have him. I do.
Yeah.
I don't know this, but evidently he's a big players coach, and yeah, like he's never lost the locker room.
Right.
But like
right.
to play your entire fucking head coaching career as middle management
yeah.
between your fucking GM owner and keeping your players happy. Like I hope he has 4 fucking shrinks on retainer. Like,
Yeah, right.
Jesus,
No
you know.
Oh, I can't imagine. All right.
Yeah, I don't know what Barry Bones. No, that's too cool. Never mind. Kerry Cones
There you
thinks is
No, Barry Bones is his GIMP name.
oh. What I don't know what is. I don't know what he's looking for in a coach. It's
A
like,
yes man
but no, but
that also wins the Super
well,
Bowl.
but that's the thing is
Yeah.
like
you can't have it fucking both ways.
no.
He wants Jimmy Johnson that's quiet, won't say anything, and doesn't take any credit for the coaching.
Well, he tried to, and then he got fired right away.
But how do but how do you win when you have no real power?
don't know.
And that's what we're seeing with the Cowboys.
Yeah. I
mean,
agree.
Yeah, no, he sucks.
Apparently, with no power comes great responsibility in the
Yeah,
Cowboys.
yeah, right.
My other Just the Worst, and this is the first for me. This is the 3rd time this guy has been on my Just the Worst list for this season. Brian Kelly, head coach of LSU.
Oh, he's been just the worst for a long time.
I know. This week, he came out talking about the Notre Dame team that's going to the championship. A lot of guys that are there on both sides of the ball, I recruited. I wasn't leaving Notre Dame because I couldn't win a
Oh
championship.
my god!
When he left Notre Dame, he said that he was leaving for a place that has both the alignment and the resources for him to win a national championship. So this motherfucker is kind of talking outside his mouth, take a little credit for
Take the
Notre
fucking
Dame
L,
being
dude.
good.
Oh.
Like, what the fuck, man?
I no, you do get some credit for it. You were there recruiting a bunch of those guys, but shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shut your fucking
you
mouth. Yep.
left.
Not only that, the way he left.
Oh, the
Remember
way
what
he-
happened?
oh.
7 o'clock in the morning meeting.
Yeah.
That all the kids have to be up for on a Monday.
Yeah,
To go into a room and have your head coach say, "I'm leaving.
yeah.
Deuces."
Do you guys
When there was a
remember-
game to play still.
Yeah, a playoff or a bowl game to play.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus. And I got to tell you, Marcus Freeman, their head coach now, he's apparently getting looks from NFL teams also. So
I do know that there's a lot of people that are also upset about Notre Dame, and
I heard you
how-
talking about this last week, and
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's garbage.
how it's unfair that they're going to get to keep all of the money that because they're not in a conference.
That
Yeah,
money
but-
can't go to football, can it? Or not as payment. It has to be like
Can't-
spread out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
it's the
right.
school's money.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know how many years they couldn't compete
yeah,
in these championships?
Yeah.
They-
all of them.
They haven't. They won a championship back in like the 40s.
They
And then
won
the-
in 1987.
Oh, was that how recent it was?
Yes.
Okay. All right. But then they changed the rules.
Tim Brown.
They changed the rules, so then they haven't been allowed to compete now.
I mean, they
so-
could compete for a few. They lost to Alabama bad one year, but that was before any of the playoffs
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
Listen, they're an independent that has a contract deal for NBC to air every one of their home games. They should never and they will never give that up unless NBC
Yep.
says you're not worth it.
Yeah,
and
they-
they're
it's
sure
a
as
contract,
fuck
right?
not going to say it after they go to a national championship game.
Yep. Yep.
So get used to it, guys. It's been this way for a long time. You want it? You want that same power? Quit your conference. Set up a non-conference schedule or an independent schedule that is tough because Notre Dame does play good teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do.
They don't make a weak schedule. They have yes, Purdue and USC these days not exactly top flight teams to play against, but those are traditional games that they have
Yeah.
played.
Yeah. Well, they have to play 5 games against the ACC, right? And then the argument will come out and be like, yeah, but the ACC's weak. Okay, but
Clemson
they were,
won a national
but they were,
championship a few
except
years
they were
ago,
all
didn't they?
ranked, except they played ranked teams in the ACC.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
wait a minute. So is the ranking wrong, or Yeah, no, it's
Well,
just
on
sad.
Monday we're clearly watching the 1 and 2 team, right?
Yeah,
But
right.
no, because the
Yeah.
ranking system is bullshit anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
How are you not?
I agree, 100%. So yeah, I'm tired of Brian Kelly. The sour grapes from that man.
And he
Every
just won't
time I
shut
hear
the
him
fuck
talk,
up.
and
Yeah,
he
come
won't
on.
shut up. And goddamn, like he went to LSU and he did a fake Southern accent in his first press conference. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah, he's like a 14-year-old fangirl. Just come
How
on.
is that not a flat? He's wrapped around his
Nah,
waist.
nah.
That's
Yeah,
down
no
to
chance
a
to catch
weak
that
call.
anyway.
All right, so that's my just the worst. So it's now time for Squeak Streak.
I will have to say, so Squeak was sick last week, but his previous streak was correct.
What was it?
Terry McLaurin did average over 5 yards per catch. He averaged about 9, actually.
Fuck
Really
yes,
well.
Tyler Bass, you beautiful weirdo. All right.
His latest streak was wrong. He said the punter for the Texans would continue to average 45 yards per punt.
No,
They only had to punt twice. Once again, Texas played a good game. And his average was like 41 yards.
Okay, so I know we talked about this till the cows came home earlier. Mahomes will have over 1.5 soft ass roughing the passer calls the next week with the Chiefs for the 18th week in a row.
Wait, pick a whole number.
The
You can't
18
say 1.5. That's not an average for one game.
Over 1.5
So 2.
for the 18th week in a row. Commander
18th
Scary
week in a
Terry,
row.
not 5 yards, but he'll have a reception for at least 35 yards
Oh.
off one shot this upcoming week.
Who?
Scary Terry.
Okay.
And then Dallas Goddard, which I know is not like a really flashy name,
I like Goddard.
He's a
Has-
solid tight end.
Yeah.
has had at least 50 yards the last 3 games. Will continue that streak versus the Commies.
Okay.
I actually think that one is a lock because that's exactly the style that they're gonna probably need to play against Washington.
He
It's
got it
gonna
today?
be
Okay.
because like it works perfectly with Barkley's running style, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It does.
Yep.
It does.
Even
All
though
right.
you've got some solid wide receivers that are getting no yards this season.
So
Hey.
as of now, we know that the Eagles will be having the Commies come to play them for their 3rd meeting this season. Do we know how who split those wins this year?
I did not take the time to look it up.
I'll find it right now.
Yeah. I'll say this, that the way the Commanders are playing right now, and barring a bad weather game, because I don't think that they've got the running game to play in shitty weather.
No, they split.
Okay. I think that they are playing so hot right now. They're riding so high, and give me Commanders. I can't believe I'm going to take someone who is
Ooh.
kind of a conference rival, but you know.
You have no choice. Either one.
Yeah, I guess the Phillies are a bigger. It doesn't. Yeah, I think Phillies are, I guess, a bigger rival. So
The Eagles?
to the Giants, I think
yeah.
so. Yeah, yeah.
He wasn't
Give
talking
me.
about the baseball team. He said the baseball team, but we knew what he meant.
I
Don't be a
said
dick.
Philly.
He said Phillies.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think
You think about that Pink Pony Club?
now this is definitely me thinking that those quarterbacks will be healthy. But I think if their corners are healthy, I think Philadelphia wins this game. I think their defense can do enough to slow Jaden Daniels down. The last time they played, I think 3rd time meeting, listen, there's going to be no surprises coming at anybody.
Yeah.
And so I think it's basically going to be line up and see who's actually better at these positions. And I think Philadelphia's defensive line, and if those cornerbacks are healthy,
their secondary is so good.
I know when they're healthy, they're fucking
Yeah.
amazing. So I think it gives them an advantage. Now I will say, the Commies do match up well. De'Ami Brown is playing out of his mind in this playoffs. Terry McLaurin's had his best season as a pro, and Zach Ertz is just a slightly older version of Dallas Goddard at this point. He's
Yeah.
playing really well too, and his onside recovery yesterday
Yeah,
was fantastic. So I think it'll be a very good game, but I think that the Eagles will come out ahead.
I think the Eagles have everything that makes them the team. They're the ones to beat. Because the Lions are now out, I really want to see the Commanders. I really want
Yeah.
to see the Commanders. Like the Eagles, again, I don't care one way or the other about them, but like, you've had one recently, you know?
That's fair.
Like, I want to see Jaden Daniels be a rookie that goes to the fucking Super Bowl.
Oh, and the fact that
know.
the Commanders, the Commanders under Daniels have done something no one has done. They have a rookie-led team beat like 3 teams with 13 wins or something like that.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going commies. Yeah.
I'm going commies for the same reason as Brian. Like, I think the Eagles are the better team, but just for the fun effect. And the Eagles have gotten one within the last decade, and the last time the
And have
Skins,
also been in the last 5 years.
well, they went to one. I'm saying they won
Yeah.
one.
But yeah. So.
Yeah, they won one in 18. But
Did he
the-
really?
Yeah. Someone other than me did it.
Oh.
He said the Skins.
Yeah, because they won it as the Skins. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I'm pulling for the commies.
Doesn't count.
no, doesn't count.
It's still just you. Doesn't count.
No, I'm just doing semantics.
Historical accuracy.
Yeah, it was
They were
like
the Skins last time.
Washington.
it was like 93 the last time the Skins got one, but I'm pulling for the commies. So put me down for the commies.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, and regardless of who wins the game tonight, they will be going to Kansas City.
Yep.
So let's do it either.
He's got it.
I'm
Let's
going to
do it
be.
either or here.
I'm going to be. It's easy for me. Whoever wins this game beats Kansas City.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't think there's some
Wow.
higher ups at the NFL office that would allow that to happen.
All right, conspiracy theories aside.
I think Kansas City, as great as their defense is, both of these teams can beat them because both of these teams have a really good offense
Yeah.
and a good enough
Like
defense
a
to keep
really
them.
good offense.
And keep them down. That being said,
Because either one could put up 34, 40 points
Yeah.
against KC, and what are they going to do then?
yeah. That being said, if you've got Travis Kelce on overdrive, that changes things a lot. But still, I think both of these teams can beat them. So yeah, put me down for that.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a point total of a Super Bowl of 100 points. That'd be fucking cool as shit to
Wouldn't
watch.
bother me a bit. I picked the Chiefs and the Lions at the beginning of the season. The Lions obviously are not going to make it, but I'm going to go ahead and stick
Okay.
with the Chiefs. I said at the beginning of the season, and they're still the champs until they lose, so I'll
Fair
stick
enough.
with them.
Same. They have the best quarterback in the league. They have the best coach in the league.
I'm agreeing with Scott. I think whoever wins this one wins.
Finally.
Because
stop the
these are
run.
the two teams that, like,
I think the Chiefs would be scared.
their wins are consistent wins. And I know Kansas City, and especially Mahomes, and, like, you know, their coach is fucking amazing. They keep winning in spite of how shitty their team has played for
Yep.
3.5 quarters. They cannot win a Super Bowl like that. They cannot.
Yes, they can.
I know they can. I meant the
The Ravens would like to talk to you about
like,
offense
they
with Trent
cannot
Dilfer.
do that, you know.
We can't keep doing this.
That's like the end of football as I know it, you know. So I can't, in good conscience, pick them to win, you know.
He's so open.
Oh, nice.
Mark Andrews, wide open, beautiful pass up the middle,
Just start kneeling the ball.
and then
Fucking Waterboy style.
You can't kill
Run
9
out the
minutes off the clock.
Matt knows what I'm referencing. They can't beat us if they don't have the ball. Just run out the clock.
Wow. Just
What
that
a
good
perfect
little punch
fell in
there.
his lap. Yes.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Awesome.
Oh, that was fucking great.
All right. Any?
You sure you're going Kansas City?
Oh,
Bills, Kansas City?
I
You
did
gonna
want
change
to
your
touch on
mind now?
something else.
I
I don't
see
know how
them
much y'all
lose
talked
to
about
them
Mike
3
Vrabel getting
times.
hired last week.
oh no, we didn't talk about Mike Vrabel at all.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
technically, the Patriots fulfilled the Rooney Rule by interviewing 2 non-white candidates for head coach. But apparently, it was so well known around the league that they were going to offer Mike Vrabel the job that some of the top ones declined to even
Yeah,
interview
but
with him.
that's always the thing.
Like Glenn from Detroit.
Yep.
The question is now whether or not the NFL will actually say, yeah, this was not truly.
Like, you should have they're on the books. That's not the same as an actual attempt.
Yeah.
And the Rooney Rule is you have to schedule interviews. And they have to...
Well, no, they did the interviews.
Yeah, but they denied the interviews. Like the face-to-face
Well, no,
one.
they got 2 face-to-face interviews.
The face-to-face?
They got 2 people to do face-to-face
With
interviews.
Brian,
Byron Leftwich and one other. I don't remember who the other one was. But they were,
Byron Leftwich, really?
again,
Like, that's just the...
yes.
yeah, that's pretty shitty. Yeah.
So- I don't know. I get it. They wanted Mike Vrabel. Vrabel wanted to be there. I still think Jared Mayo got fucked on that one.
Oh, he totally did.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys saw Gronk was doing an interview on some fill in the blank sports station, and he was going to bat for, he did get screwed, and you got to give a guy 3 years before he can implement his message for offense and defense, and he wasn't even trashing Kraft or the Patriots organization, but as soon as he was like, I don't agree with this, I think this is wrong, immediately the host was like, we're going to commercial.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's sad.
That's really
Yeah.
sad. And it took Gronk 35 minutes to come up with that sentence.
No, but I'm saying, but he was making sound
just
points. He was
sad,
just like, how can you show the guy a door after one season? You don't even
Yep.
give him a chance to.
Because, just like the Texans before, it's like, you didn't do what I told you to do, you're fired.
Yeah.
And, I get as the owner, you're allowed to do that. You can hire and fire whatever fucking coaching staff you want. But when you hire a coach and his goal is to fucking win, and they win, maybe not as much as you want, but they win, even if it costs you a fucking pick. Come on. What kind of culture do you want to build in your team?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. That's sad.
All right, Josh, you got to put some points on the board.
All right. We will not be here next week because, one of the games won't even be finished by the time we're done. It's kind of hard to talk for an hour about a game and then talk about a game that you don't even know who's going to be matching up. We will be doing our postseason Super Bowl season wrap-up after the big game. That will not be one that we do live on YouTube. I doubt we will record ourselves on it if you want to watch it for posterity's sake. I will put out a TikTok to let y'all know when that will be coming out.
Oh,
as
you
soon
will
as
be
we
putting
know.
out a TikTok.
Well, TikTok's available now.
Already?
Is that legal?
I thought you were going to learn Mandarin and put it on Red Note, Red
I was
Wine,
thinking about
whatever,
it.
Red Book.
Red Book.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's in Chinese. I haven't learned it yet.
Also, at that point, we should have more head coach hirings.
No?
We'll have a little bit to talk about there. And also, that will be when we will know who has actually...
Oh, awards.
Well, that and the Hall of Fame name should
Oh,
be coming
yes.
out also
Oh, good.
for the
Oh,
finalists.
good. Oh, nice.
So that
Yeah.
we can discuss.
Yeah, I like that.
That should be
I
a lot
like
of fun.
Yeah.
It's probably going to
So that'll be the next time that we are on. Anyway, enjoy the rest of this Buffalo and Baltimore game. It's going to be a very interesting 8 minutes coming up. And if you're wondering, who was that person that sounded so happy? The great Skunk Hunter is finally acting like he wants his team to win.
No. He started out as droopy dog, and yeah.
I like it.
The
I
entire
like this
season,
transformation.
he was
He's been droopy dog since week
Yeah,
1 of the preseason.
I know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ha! All right.
Go Bills.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of the games. Enjoy the NFC and AFC championships next week and the Super Bowl 2 weeks after that. We will see y'all in a few weeks. Thank you for listening. I am Matty Fax. Scotty Stats to my left. The chair to my right. Skunk Hunter next to him. Up Greg on the other side. We'll see y'all in a few weeks.